Maua back to serve to do the honors. We are underway here in Tallahassee between the Noles and the Cavaliers. And the first swing comes out of the middle for Virginia, out of Jasmine Robinson. Out of the back row, there is Reagan Innist.
Right on cue with that back row attack, and having Innist in the back row as an option, it just gives another offensive weapon in this 5-2 offense for the Cavs.
In the back row for one rotation, now she goes to the front. Her counterpart, Cadence Booth, the senior from Kernersville, North Carolina, goes back to serve. Florida State will try the back row, a look to Kylene Fili-Maua, and swinging off the right side, there's Lauren Bowie.
Really doing a nice job of finding the high hands. Double block was up, swinging off the fingertips. When you're able to go off the high hands, it opens up about 10 to 12 more feet as an attacker.
Third-year veteran who's averaging more kills per set on a higher efficiency than in any season of her career so far. Now to the outside go the Seminoles and Henke. Innist this time takes some speed off. Nothing off speed about that swing, and Yane Henke is on the board.
Henke got the Virginia block. They were still on their way up as she's swinging down into it. So Virginia has to do a better job timing up that block against one of the ACC's best attackers.
Henke, one of the best all-around scorers in the Atlantic Coast Conference, right up there with Olivia Babcock and Flor Marie Heredia-Colon in Miami. Out of the middle, there's a swing once again for number 15 in orange, Jasmine Robinson.
Robinson's really been working on her connection with both Virginia setters. That's been an area when she has perfect sets, she's able to terminate well, but even off the net, she's trying to improve with those non-perfect sets.
So one kill on two swings out of the gates for Jasmine Robinson. That'll send Katie Barrier back to serve. Delaney Ewing was looking for a kill of her own, but is turned back to the floor by Caroline Lang.
It's great eye work there by Caroline Lang, the freshman middle, who's played on the right side as well this season, but great job mirroring the middle on Florida State side.
A freshman from Charlottesville, Virginia, at her home school, a player that her head coach Shannon Wells said, frankly, we still are trying to figure out where we're going to play her. She's played in both positions out of sheer circumstance, and she has played well over the last week and change in the middle.
And she's been so flexible, too, because depending on the week, she's had to move positions, so she hasn't had that level of continuity that you need as a freshman.
Nellie Stevenson, one of Florida State's two setters in their 6-2 system, back to serve. Once again, reversing the flow. There's Bowie off the right, number 33. Out of system for Bowie once more, and that is a smart swing. Took some off and found the sideline.
I love that Virginia so far offensively is trying to find Laura Bowie on that right side. It's making this Virginia offense way more balanced. You're not seeing the ball just go to Innist on that left pin.
Yeah, Innist has taken two swings. Bowie has taken three and put two balls away. Out of the middle, Florida State goes to Delaney Ewing. And Kelly, when Florida State typically is at their best, they are going through the middle. That's a couple of early looks for Ewing, number 24.
And Ewing, she gets so high. She's an energy player. Great job going cross body on that swing block. Paired up on the right side, she just swings the other way.
Brings Florida State back within two as Henke goes back to serve. It's a service error. And the lead goes back to 3 for the Cavaliers.
And the service game is something to keep an eye on from both of these squads. You're going to see Virginia, they're going to mix up the depths of their serves. They're going to have these serves on a yo-yo to try and mess with the hitters' heads of Florida State.
It'll be Innist to do the honors. Fili-Maua off the block. Good work defensively by Meredith Reed. Second effort for Fili-Maua. That time it finds the floor. Kylene Fili-Maua is on the board.
Excellent set choice there by Nellie Stevenson, going tempo to the pin, set up her hitter with a one-on-one block for Fili-Maua to just tee off.
Stevenson, who has been the starting setter for Florida State of late, came off the bench here this evening. Lily Nicholson, who has primarily been Florida State starting center, is back in that starting role tonight. And there's a block for the Noles at the net.
Really nice job by that Noles block. The slide play is one of the toughest plays in volleyball to defend because you have to track the hitter all the way to the antenna, but nice job being set up inside to take away that cross-court look.
Nenu Kapia and Kylene Filimawa in there defensively. And as you mentioned, the service game is going to be particularly important. That is already now a second service error by the Seminoles.
And interestingly, the Noles, the 2 service errors, they've been short into the net. Usually when you're missing early in games, you're serving long.
Kate Johnson, the Gainesville native and one of the veterans on that roster, back to serve. Back row, Innes rejected. Nenu Kapia with a second block.
The freshman Kapia putting up an absolute wall at the net. Look at this eye work. The back row attack is so tough to defend as a blocker because you rarely can get up a double block against, but Nenu Kapia was perfectly set up.
The leading blocker for Florida State, averaging just over a block per set, has been in and out of the top 10 in the ACC throughout the season. Booth jammed up on serve receive, now goes back to work offensively, dug over by the Noles. Keep an eye on Zoe Dode in the front row. She can call her own number on 2 and will do so. That swing by the Noles out of play, point Virginia.
And that setter dump when Dode is in the front row, that's something that Florida State is dialed in on because she is a very aggressive setter. She's also a lefty, so it gives you a different look as a blocker.
And Dode goes back to serve now. The sophomore from Granville, Michigan, was on the all-freshman team a season ago. Kapia on a tight slide. Now off the gap. Booth. Whalen takes some off the right. Booth hovers off the top of the block. That's still up and playable. And that ran out of room. Boy, it just felt like, Kelly, nobody could get a decent first contact on that ball, and everybody was scrambling on both sides of the net.
And Virginia coach Shannon Wells talked about that we have to be very gritty tonight against Florida State, who does a great job digging a lot of balls. You're seeing that grittiness right now. They're out gritting on that play of Virginia winning that point.
Scrappy work by the Seminoles. That ball is tight. And that is put away by Bowie. Lauren Bowie has been the hot hand out of the gates for UVA. And Shannon Wells, Kelly, has said they feel like each of their opposites, Lauren Bowie as well as number 30, Becca White, are capable of getting you 3 kills a set.
And that's a big number. Bowie gives you that physical big presence on the right side.
Well, she does have 3 kills in this first set. Nenu Kapia tried to put that ball away hovering above the net. Yamamoto crashes in, calls everybody off, and there's Jasmine Robinson up on the block attempt. That ball got inside the block, though. Timing also important, and a quality seal just as much.
Good eye work there by Robinson, who's really improved her block throughout this season. She just has to do a better job of sealing the net, getting those hands low and across.
So that'll send Mio Yamamoto back to serve, the senior libero from Chigasaki, Japan. Transferred in from Louisiana. There's Delaney Ewing knocking that ball back. Henke drops the hammer. Scott tracks it down. Whalen. That's exactly what she's doing over there on the right side of the net for Florida State, and we are tied at 9.
Really nice decision by the setter, Lily Nicholson, to reverse the flow of this offense. That back set to the right side allows Whalen to tee off with a one-on-one matchup. As a setter, that's your job, not only to better the ball, but to get your hitters in one-on-one situations. 1
kill on 2 swings now for Peyton Whalen. Innes stopped the top of the block and out of play. Another kill for Reagan Innes.
Nice job there by Virginia, going tempo to the pin. It was a low flat set. It's really hard for that block to keep up with that tempo.
So just as soon as the Noles scratch out a tie early on in this first set, Virginia goes tempo to Innes and reassumes the lead. Katie Barrier back to serve once more. Oh, misconnection there by Florida State. Virginia will take it. It looked like they wanted to run the gap there to Delaney Ewing.
Yeah, just a little bit too high tough to tell if they were trying to go for the gap or they were trying to go to the pin. A little bit of a mistimed connection, too, with Henke.
Henke herself jammed up on serve, receive, goes back to work offensively, induces the overdip. Ewing out of the middle, and that'll be a kill for Florida State. A bit of a delayed call, but the confirmation indeed that it is a kill for Ewing.
Nice job there. Florida State's done a nice job involving their middles early in this match. Ewing bringing the energy so far, and the Noles as well have done a good job of winning the free ball points right now.
Yeah, they certainly have. And both of these teams really have done a nice job of spreading the ball around early, kind of going against what you would think they would do or what they're predisposed to do.
Speaking of middles, Caroline Lang on the gap set.
First kill for Caroline. Two-point lead for the Cavaliers on the road. Meredith Reed serves. Henke erases one of those points.
Virginia is targeting Henke on serves, but some outside hitters get stronger. They take it personally, like a chip on your shoulder when you are serving them and then making them pass the ball, and Henke's just teeing off right now.
Yeah, how dare you try to pull me out of the offense as Henke herself goes back to serve, averaging 4.5 kills per set. She's got a couple here to pace the Noles in this opener. Point to Virginia. That ball was down.
Smart shot. Going to the tip. Saw that ball was not going to get covered in time.
So off kill number 4 for Reagan Innist, who kills 2, 3, and 4 have all come in the last handful of points. Now goes back to serve. She can get going in a hurry as Henke's swing sails way long. And Virginia leads by 3 approaching the midway point.
You're just seeing Henke right now. She's shaking off the rust a little bit on those back row attacks. It's a timing thing. It's got to be a tempo set on that two-step approach.
Yeah, just the second match back after missing 5 consecutive matches for Janne Henke. Once again, called on and serve, received. Philly Maua high off the hands and out. Good swing by number 12 in white.
Florida State's having a lot of success right now on that left pin. They're beating the Virginia block. Giant hole as that block is not closing in time to the antenna.
Lead back down to 2. Virginia 1 point away from sending us to the midway media timeout as Kaylin Russ checks in to serve. Reed on the first contact. Cadence Booth off the top of the block. Off the bick. Janne Henke has it dug back over. Now reversing the flow to Mason. It's not a bad idea trying to find the back corner, but just too much juice on that ball. Point Virginia off. Third member of our crew on the sidelines. As Virginia takes on Florida State, it has been compelling stuff. And in fact, as she mentioned, Reagan Innist certainly brimming with confidence, has every right to beat Kelly. 4 kills, 6 swings, only 1 attack error, hitting .500 as we get through the first half of this first set.
I just can't believe she's 17 years old. She is turning 18 on Sunday, but still.
Turning 18 in Coral Gables, of all places. I can think of worse places to spend a birthday.
It'd be even better if she could get a win for her team.
So far, so good. The lead swells to 4 for the Cavaliers. Kate Johnson back to serve once more. Big swing there by Kylene Philly Maua.
Those cross-court looks are what has worked for both outsides right now on that left pin. Philly Maua and Henke in this match. So that block's going to have to do a better job of getting up in time. And then also the back row defense is going to have to be able to dig some of those swings if they're not getting a block touch.
Florida State certainly could benefit from more of that. Trailing by 3 in this first set. Cadence Booth went cross herself. There's Zoe Dode calling her own number out of the front row, number 10.
Dode does such a good job, too, of disguising that dump. So while she's a lefty, so it's like a delayed reaction. Looks like she's going up and then just throws it down aggressively.
More offensive of Virginia's 2-setters that they run in their 5-2. Yes, 5-2 system. Don't say that often. She'll go back to serve and sub off the floor for her counterpart, Hannah Scott. to come in and run the back row, as she will now with Florida State siding out.
And if you're the Noles, you're just going to keep setting that left pin because that block is not getting there in time. So Florida State having a field day here in the last couple of points on that left side.
It's been Innes and Philly Maua who have paced the offenses so far. And here's an opportunity for Florida State off the overpass. The new Kapia turned back, though. Now reversing the flow to Whalen, kept alive by Hogan. Out of system for Booth. Good swing, high off the block and down.
Nice job taking a big hard swing into the seam of that block, and Florida State could not dig that ball.
Lead to 4 for Cadence Booth and the Cavaliers. Booth, who transferred in from Tennessee a season ago, spent the first couple of years of her career with the Lady Vols. Florida State looks to run the big. That is picked up. Katie Barrier with the pancake. Innes rolls the out of system over. How about that stuff block by Lauren Bowie? She was the hot hand offensively early, and now some defensive fireworks for number 33.
Virginia coach Shannon Wells calls Lauren Booth one of the best right side blockers in the ACC. That is why, because she is putting up a brick wall. Great job on.
It's been a good start for Virginia, no matter the personnel on the floor, leading by 5 here in set 1. Booth back to serve. Philly Maua off the bick. Innes tried to go 4-4 on that cut shot, missed the sideline though, and that is a much needed side out for the Noles.
And that's an area too. Florida State has to serve tougher in this match because right now Virginia is siding out at almost 87%. That is a massive number.
And how much, Kelly, does the early service errors weigh into that now? After you've missed a couple of times, how easy is it to try to dial it back and serve easier just for the sake of getting it in and then getting yourself in trouble that way?
It can start to get in your head, but you know, a couple service errors early, it's not too concerning. It's just, can you make the adjustment then to be able to get Virginia out of system? Because right now their offense, they have all 3 attack options available on a lot of plays.
They have certainly cashed those opportunities into the red zone now. Katie Barrier back to serve. Henke off speed, not a bad idea. Booth got the back corner.
That was a bullet from Cadence Booth, and there wasn't a whole lot of options for Virginia to go to on that set because Ennis was taken out of the play, taking that second contact. So a tremendous swing from Cadence Booth, and I think we're gonna have a challenge.
Yeah, Chris Poole is not convinced. And Kim Wisham, our down referee, will take a look.
Original point, Virginia. FSU is challenging that the ball was out.
So a simple in-out challenge here by the Seminoles, who, if you're getting used to the challenge system in the NCAA, a few years ago it was a 3-challenge system, and if you use it, you lose it regardless if you're right. It's now gone to a 2-challenge system that, in effect, Kelly, if you're correct, you have an unlimited number of challenges throughout the match.
And you get a 3rd challenge if you go to 5 sets. That's a hard angle to see from that angle because the pole's in the way. This is probably the best angle we're gonna have. If any part of this ball clips the white line or the court, it is considered in. That angle, from that angle, that ball looks out. I see maroon between the ball and the white end line.
Yeah, so if you see any strip of color between the end line and where that ball lands, as you mentioned, Kelly, then you have grounds to turn over that point. And it's not just taking a point away from Virginia, you are also giving a point to Florida State. So unlike any other sport, you actually have the potential of a 2-point swing in your hand every single time you go to a review.
Yeah, and this is a good challenge by Chris Poole early in this match. You know, you have a pretty big gap in a 6-point differential right now. So this could really change the momentum and the tide. It also acts as a second timeout.
Florida State still does have one timeout. They'd like to keep both challenges and cut this 6-point lead as it stands down to 4. Chris Poole in his 18th season as Florida State's head coach, 15 NCAA tournament appearances. And Kim Wisham has come over to let us know that they are going to, in fact, reverse the call. The ball was out.
After review, the call is out. Point FSU. They will retain their challenge.
So, Kelly, you were all over it off of that overhead look.
Well, this is a tremendous angle from our crew, and this is an even better angle because it's zoomed in. You can see, though, the space between the garnet coloring of the floor and the white end line.
Clearly out, and the 6-point lead is down to 4. And now, as you'll see from time to time, everybody's got to check the rotations and sub in some players.
Well, especially for Florida State,
yes,
because that's been a thing this year. Chris Poole, with so many freshmen, he said, we're making, every now and then we make a bonehead decision and we get an overlap call and we're out of rotation.
So making sure everybody's where they need to be, got the right personnel on the floor. Nellie Stevenson will serve, trailing by 4. That's tight, and that's an antenna. Reagan Innes got into the antenna.
That's a tough break because you had Booth take that first contact and then the libero hand set the second contact, and just not anywhere for Innes to go with that set.
Yeah, just ran out of room there at the pin to number 2. It's been a terrific first set in large form for Innes, and a couple of errors here, and now the first ball contact starting to fall apart a bit for Virginia. Henke goes off speed, has it swatted back over and out by Lang, and the Noles are on a run here. We'll see if...
In that match, 25 kills, 14 digs.
And hit north of 300 also. She has been brilliant of late. Stevenson stays back to serve. Near collision there by the Seminoles, and that misconnection. Yanni Henke really never had a chance to put a play on that ball.
Lauren Bowie, though, has been the go-to player in difficult situations in this first set. She's bailing Virginia out right now.
Yeah, she's taken a heavy load over there on the right side and has been in many ways the unsung hero so far for Virginia. Henke. That missed the sideline. Point to the Cavaliers, and this is exactly what you would hope for if you're Shannon Wells out of the timeout.
And Shannon Wells said, we're not going to stop Henke and Philemau in this match, but we have to be able to shut down everybody else in this Florida State team.
Yeah, she said, contain them and nobody else can career. Booth. Good looking swing out of the back row by Cadence Booth. And that's just smart. Yanni Henke, everybody was playing on their back foot, expecting plenty of pop, which she's capable of. It just left the campfire wide open, Kelly.
Henke's court vision is elite. She reads that block and that defense so well, and she's just able to find the holes in the floor.
It is kill number 4 for Yanni Henke, joining Kylene Philemau as the leading Seminole scorers. Good first ball there. Innes, though, is turned back by Lexi Mason. Block number 3 for Florida State. Here they come again.
Really nice job by Lexi Mason of tracking Reagan Innes. The set's fairly low because it's a tempo set, but she's up, she's ready, and she's putting up a brick wall.
Lead back down to 2. Henke serves. Look at the high reach there by Innes. Florida State thought that ball was up, and Michael Gale is saying, you know what, you're right, that was a premature whistle, and we're going to play that point again. And that's the right decision, too. You don't want to overturn the point and give it to Florida State because, in theory, that rally could have continued.
Well, it's a critical point in the match, too. You're
Yes.
in the red zone.
So we'll do it again. Florida State trailing by 2. That's tight. Innes just punished that ball.
That's a great decision there to go to the pin, one-on-one block, and Innes is going to win that battle. She is so elite as a freshman at taking big, fearless swings at crucial points of the match.
And when you think about how Virginia spread the ball around, how much of that has led to Innes even getting a one-on-one look.
It's huge because it opens things up for that left pin, because as a blocker, you can't key in on that left side pin.
Kelly, you mentioned a couple points ago the ceiling is going to play a factor. That's the first time it has played a factor tonight. Virginia just could not track that ball off the swing of Kylene Filimawa. It is kill number 5 for Kylene. The lead is once again down to 2. Booth swipes it off the edge of the block and down, and Virginia races out to set point.
Really smart shot by Booth. That block hadn't closed all the way to the antenna. She tools off the outside blocker's hands.
So the Cavaliers have a chance to strike first on the road. Kate Johnson, who hails from Gainesville, you don't think she has some desire to notch a win in Tallahassee? And they are one step closer to doing just that. The Cavaliers take set 1 away here in set number 2. These teams have switched sides as they do after each set. Nanu Kapia gets the swing out of the middle, and that is still alive. Katie Barrier gets it back into play, but that would have taken 4 contacts to get it across.
That was a nice hustle, though, by Katie Barrier. She was basically into the scorer's table trying to get that ball.
And Kelly, one of the things that Virginia can do running a 5-2 is they can get a couple of DSs in there, the littles as they're affectionately called, and you're seeing those scrappy, never let the ball die type plays over and over again.
They rotate 4 of those littles in, and a lot of times lately have been using a 2 libero system, but that's been massive in their passing efforts to have a cleaner first ball contact.
It has gone and really benefited Virginia down the stretch. Speaking of liberos, Mio Yamamoto is a really good one. A couple of years ago, she was the Sun Belt Libero of the Year, averaged nearly 5 digs per set last year, somehow didn't win the award then, and she has really been an ace at the service line, pun intended. That was number 20. Really a misconnection there. Nice play by Robinson just to get the ball over. 2-0 FSU, and Peyton Whalen swatted that ball out of play. She knew it immediately that the hand direction wasn't correct, and that's a point to Virginia, who is 5-0 this season after winning the first set.
And those are just some of the freshman growing pains you're going to go through at times, where you know the play you have to make and it just doesn't come off your hand.
Service error here for the Cavaliers, and that is what Florida State did in set 1. A couple of early service errors gave Virginia the lead, and to their credit, they never gave it up. Knowles will send Nellie Stevenson back to serve. Stevenson coming off her season-high 31 assists against Cal. There's Innes again. Kill number 7 for the freshman.
That's what makes Innes so elite as a freshman. That was an out-of-system ball, and she's still able to terminate that down the line, which was a shot early in the season that she was not hitting at all. Virginia rolled out what they called the Reagan defense to get her to learn how to hit that shot better.
And she certainly has. 7 kills on 15 swings. There have been 4 attack errors, so the hitting percentage is around 200 for the match, but there is no doubt about it. She has come in and made an incredible impact. Florida State leads this set by 1 early on, looking to equalize at the intermission. And a yellow card has been issued by Michael Gale. Not sure what that was all about.
I would be very curious to get an explanation of what that was for.
We'll do some digging and see if we can find out what that was all about, as the point goes to Virginia. Yanni Henke with an attack error.
For Florida State, it's going to be critical to get Henke into a better rhythm in the second set.
Henke does have 4 kills, but 3 errors. Now make it 4, hitting at 0 on 17 swings. Not great first contact there by Yamamoto. Florida State has to send the free ball over. Caroline Lang And now here's Henke out of system. Bowie on the cross. That was too heavy and out of play.
And that was a great up initially by Hannah Scott, the setter, taking that ball, giving Virginia a chance, trying to cut that ball inside the block, but tried to roll it over, just a hitting error there on the right side.
Henke back to the back row, and there's Bowie turned back by Kylene Philly-Maua.
Florida State's doing a better job with their left side block, taking away some of the angles that Bowie was having a lot of success with in that first set.
Yeah, Shannon Wells has said that she likes Lauren Bowie against other teams' best outside hitters. Statistically speaking, that's been Yane Henke for the Noles, but in rotations where it's Kylene Philly-Maua playing in front of Lauren Bowie, it's been Philly-Maua who's been the better.
Absolutely. And some of that is because Bowie is such a good blocker. She really puts up a giant wall at the net. She's very physical.
Reed back to serve. Ewing puts that ball down. It'll be interesting to see if Florida State can get the middles going. Just a couple of kills for each of them, Kelly, so far.
And it's pivotal to open up things on the pins for Florida State's offense. Nice job on this quit to Delaney Ewing, who continues to improve offensively, and she works so hard to make herself available.
3 kills now on 4 swings for Delaney Ewing. There's a big rejection by Nanu Kapia. Just a couple of kills for Kapia, but Kelly, that's now block number 3.
That's been the difference in the second set. Florida State is putting up a much better block on the right sides of Virginia, that time on the slide, but taking away that cross-court angle.
Block number 4 for the Seminoles as a team in this match. Good scrappiness there by Philly-Maua. Lexi Mason knows exactly what to do with the ball that's just left hovering harmlessly above the tape.
She was up, she tracked that. You watch it go into your hands and just teeing off. You love that when you got an opportunity, all sorts of daylight there in the back of zone 5.
And Kelly, one thing that I find interesting about both of these teams, whether it's been injuries, whether it's been youth, they have both been tasked to respond over and over again this season. And how about the response by Florida State early in set 2 after dropping set 1 at home?
Especially Florida State's been through a lot this season. The youth is a huge part of it. 9 freshmen, the youngest squad Chris Poole has ever had. But then you've had injuries too, so you've had to shuffle lineups for the last 3 weeks, people playing out of position.
Kapia dug up and out. That's another kill for Nanu Kapia. And right on cue, Florida State going to that middle attack and finding some success with it.
But we saw this match so far actually reminds me a lot. I had Florida State at Oklahoma earlier, a showdown at the net in September, and Oklahoma came out guns a-blazing in the first set, and Florida State looked like a completely different team in the second set, ended up forcing 5 sets in that match, and I really thought that was a massive performance by a very young Noles squad.
Yeah, Chris Poole said there were times in that 5th set he thought they were going to get out of Oklahoma with a win. Here's Philly-Maua, and Kylene Philly-Maua is on a heater. Kill number 6 on 13 swings now for Kylene.
And that's what's tough if you're Virginia's block is which outside do you focus on and try to slow down, because
to do so. She said she does a lot of positive affirmations, saying things like, you've got hops and the other side's got nothing on you. And if there's a dance party in the locker room, guys, she told me she is right in the middle of it. And you can see how the team really feeds off of her energy.
Yeah, they certainly have, Ansley, and they have fed off the success of the middles here, Kelly, in this second set. We'll see if the Noles can continue to ride that wave of momentum off the backside of this Virginia timeout. The Cavaliers get a timely side out, and there is Kapia off 1 foot, inducing the overdig. Right back to her on the gap, picked up. That's still alive for the moment, but a point to Virginia nonetheless.
Even though it wasn't a Florida State point, though, I love that Lily Nicholson went right back to Kapia. That's your setter, your veteran setter, upperclassman showing confidence in your freshman middle.
And this is a player that Chris Poole has at times said in Kapia that is every bit as good as Corey Lewis was as a freshman.
Which is scary because Corey Lewis had a tremendous freshman year in the PVF.
Rookie of the year in the Pro Volleyball Federation, one of the most efficient hitters in the Pro Volleyball Federation for the Atlanta Vibe, and I think I am contractually obligated to make mention of the fact that the Orlando Valkyries won the title in the Pro Volleyball
Of course
Federation.
you are. Oh, this is just a smart shot by Virginia. And a nice job, Filimawa, finding the donut in the floor. And she is, right now, her court vision is perfection.
Yeah, Florida State saw smart shot and answered with smart shot, both by number 12 on the outside, no less. A power tip from the back row by Filimawa. Dode turned back off the dump. Here's Booth. That caught hands on its way out. That's a kill for Cadence.
Booth does a really nice job, not only of swinging hard, but she swings high into the fingertips of that block. And so it makes it really tough as a block, even though you're up and you're putting up a wall at the net, to be able to not get that ball from going out of bounds.
And Cadence Booth, who's missed 6 matches this season due to injury, the second leading scorer for Virginia with 5 kills. There's Kapia out of the middle.
And we're seeing Kapia's versatility as a middle. We've seen her go both in front of and behind the setter. She's got some hops on her too. Chris Poole talks about what a sponge she is, but just a nice job. Double block is up. She's just hitting over that block. She has a really high contact point.
Kelly, we have seen her on her last 3 swings go off 1 foot on the slide, go on the gap, and now a back 1.
Yeah, versatility.
Really, really versatile. Whalen goes off speed, gets Virginia scrambling, and Filimawa resets for the Noles. Quickly to Henke, and that finds the floor. Good offense by the Noles in transition. And it is a collective gathering of breath here in Tallahassee as the Noles get back to action here in set 2. Yamamoto sends it in. Lauren Bowie off the right. I think Virginia's going to want a touch call. They're lobbying for it. No challenge, though, yet by their head coach, Shannon Wells. All right, we'll play on. I thought the Cavaliers players had a point there, but all right. Off the back row, Innes trying to snipe the sideline. She got it.
Got a touch.
Now Florida State saying there was no touch. And might Florida State challenge? And we will have a challenge by Chris Poole. He was successful the first time he challenged an in-out call, and this will be a touch, no-touch call here in set number 2.
Well, you saw Associate Head Coach Lindsay Allman right away said there was absolutely not a touch on that. So she was telling Coach Poole, you got to challenge.
The original point went to Virginia. FSU is challenging a defensive touch.
So for the point to go to Virginia, that must mean that it was ruled Florida State touched that ball on its way out. The Noles are saying they did not.
I don't see from that angle any fingertip or even a nail grazing that ball. You're also looking at whether the trajectory, the rotation of the ball changes. And in real time when I was watching, it looked to me like Innes' swing was way to the left of that block. So when the initial ruling was made about a touch, I thought actually maybe it was one of the back row defenders that might have touched it.
That was my train of thought as well. Although I will say that's a lot closer than I thought it was.
Even with a fingernail, but you can see from that angle that ball is nowhere close to Ewing's hand. I just don't see any part of any fingertip on that right hand bending backwards.
Don't really see any change in the spin either of the ball, which those two things would go hand in hand. Tip of the cap to our crew, who is getting you some seriously good, close, slow-mo looks.
The call is going to be confirmed.
Kim Wisham, as you mentioned, Kelly, coming over to say that the call is going to be confirmed.
After review, the call is confirmed. Point Virginia.
And with it remaining point Virginia, that means the Noles are down to one challenge unless they go to a fifth.
Loses a challenge.
And there's Kim Wisham confirming that.
I still don't necessarily see it, but
And neither does Chris Poole. He wants to chat with Kim. All right, back to the action. Still a 5-point lead for Florida State. Reagan Innes with kill number 9, by the way. Philly Maua turned back by the tape. Blockers were up. I don't even think it caught the block, though.
that all started, though, because of the serve. Drop serve, short serve, and so tough first pass. Florida State didn't have any options but to go to Philly Maua on that back row attack. Triple block was up and ready.
And this is a Virginia team that does not have a single ace. And I think, Kelly, the lesson there is that for folks that fall in love with stat lines and how many aces you get, you can be a really good serving team even if you're not dropping aces in.
You've seen it in back-to-back points now for Virginia.
Coach at Texas A&M and now is going to be the GM of the Atlanta Vibe.
Coach Bird.
Coach Bird, she told me, look, I've got these sayings. Everybody knows I come up with these sayings. She said, my most recent one that I think is going to stick, and I want to put it on a t-shirt, is your serve is your handshake to the match.
I love that.
Your serve is your handshake.
Yes.
Coach Bird. With
Coach Bird coming through. You know, I have a funny Coach Bird story. I got it when she was at A&M. She told me a story. Her team did not know who Michael Jordan was. She had a poster of Michael Jordan in her office, and some of her players did not know who that was.
That's incredible in more ways than one.
It was a travesty is what it was.
Good defense there. Lily Nicholson laying out on D. Philly Maua sets the out of system to her fellow pin Henke. Another out of system look for Henke. Innes blows up the block for another kill.
Innes just does not swing like a freshman. That is not a freshman swing going high off the fingertips, and she continues to develop a deeper and deeper toolbox of shots.
4-0 run, and Florida State desperately needs a decent pass and a side out. Might have got the pass there, but my goodness, that is a wall at the net.
The difference on this run for Virginia, it's not only the serving, it's the block. This block is getting a lot of touches at the net. It's a double block, 4 hands up against the left side outside hitter of Yana Henke.
Looks like the Noles are going to bring in a double substitution. It'll be Stevenson and Mason heading to the floor in place of Nicholson and Whalen. So you'll see that from time to time. If you're going to swap out your setter, you might as well swap out the right side, especially if you're in a 6-2 look. And it'll be Nellie Stevenson to serve.
It'll also change up the blocking matchup.
And that was a smart decision by Chris Poole.
The drop serve is working for both sides right now.
Lead preserved. The Noles re-extend the lead to 2. It's been one they've led here in this set by as many as 5 or 6, really. Let's see if Stevenson can go on a run. She drops it over. Innes caught hands. Henke just threaded that ball through the block and down the line. What a swing.
Just a nice job of reading that block, knowing what shot to go to. That's her court vision in real time.
That'll be kill number 6 now for Yana Henke. Out of the middle, there's Jasmine Robinson. There's that setter-hitter connection that continues to evolve in the middle with number 15 in orange.
Robinson's really worked on those quick attacks, just being able, she was inconsistent with, like, sometimes she swings hard, but was swinging a lot of times out of bounds.
Yeah, you get the feeling that with these Virginia middles, it's when you're in transition, when balls are off the net, that the gray area comes in. When you can go quick off the gap, that's where they're comfortable.
Yeah.
So off the side out, the lead is down to 4. Boy, what a decision that was by Yana Henke, just tipping it right over the top.
And the difficulty of that shot, too, because she switched that shot up in mid-air, mid-approach. She decides to go to the tip. sees where that block is, sees they're up, and can go over. That ball not going to get covered in time.
Oh, you can see that developing in slow motion, too. Lang out of the middle, right off the gap. Ball on top of the net, no problem for the freshman Caroline Lang.
Virginia's having success going to the middles in transition here.
Oh, what a serve. What great defense there by Henke, laying out, trying to keep it off the floor. Knowles would have took 4 contacts to get it over, but my goodness, the service pressure.
All started with this serve. Look at the way this ball just dies off, and Henke can barely get under it.
Chris Poole, yeah, go ahead.
You have Filimao then. She's well off the 10-foot line, having to swing is all out of sorts.
Credit to him, too. To be able to locate a jump top is incredibly impressive at the rate that they are able to, but right on the money when a number of players can go back and be effective at the service line, as we have seen all night long from Virginia. Man, it really makes a difference. Here's Reed going deep to Yamamoto. And look at that roof over there, turning back Kylene Filimawa.
Caroline Lang and Doe teaming up. Look at this press, putting up a brick wall, but that was mostly Caroline Lang just skying in the air, and she continues to get better by the set.
Good pass there, and off of a D-ball look to an outside hitter. A combination play by Florida State. That breaks the streak for the Noles.
That was a nice shot, too, by Henke. Had to come in a little bit inside on that D-ball, just aimed right for the blocker's hands that was set up.
Also, Kaylin Russ back to serve. That's a pretty good serve by Kaylin Russ. Reagan Innes turns it down the line. And look at the speed on that arm swing.
Such a fast arm.
Yeah.
And I'm so impressed, too, that, again, the line shot was not in her repertoire early in the season.
Looks pretty good now. Kill number 11 for Innes, who leads all scorers tonight so far. Lead down to 2 for the Noles here in this second set. Oh, what a decision that was to reverse the flow by Stevenson. Seam was open for Lexi Mason. That's a good swing for number 26.
I like the double sub move that Florida State 2 went to Lexi Mason, because she's a lefty, so on that right side, she provides a different look. As a blocker, it messes with your eye work because you have to set up completely differently on those cross-court looks.
So kill for Lexi Mason, and Lily Nicholson dumps serve into the net. Lead right back down to 2. Mason, a player that Florida State thought they were going to redshirt to start the year, who continues to grow leaps and bounds. Chris Poole says he's incredibly proud of her. And here's Kate Johnson. Back to serve. Good work there on serve, received. That's good offense by Florida State. A decent pass and a smart swing at the pin by Philly Mel to tool the block.
Really smart swing, just aiming for the outside blocker's hands. That block trying to take away the inside cross-court look, so it wasn't set up all the way to the antenna.
Back and forth lead between 2 and 3 now for Florida State as the Noles enter the red zone, 4 points away from equalizing the match. Reagan Innes, it doesn't matter where she is on the floor. Front row, back row, left side, right side, give her a ball, and she will put it to the floor.
It's just scary to
Yes.
think about her potential, that she's able to find the seam in the back row as a 17-year-old.
If this is where we're starting.
It's a high trajectory that she's going to have.
Oh, Florida State did a nice job keeping that ball off the floor. More of that service pressure by Virginia, and that's a good decision by Nanu Kapia. 1v0, and she snapped it to the floor in no time.
And this is, as a middle, this is your favorite shot to put down. You go up on that overpass, and you dunk this ball. She reads where Dode is as a setter, just goes behind her.
Several kills here in this set for Nanu Kapia, who all of a sudden is hitting 400 for the Noles. And there's an ace serve.
This is the type of response we have seen from Florida State throughout this season. When an opponent goes on a run, this young, youthful group answers right back.
2 aces for Mio Yamamoto. in addition to an ace from Nellie Stevenson. How about 3 aces for Mio Yamamoto?
Yamamoto right now, she's picking on the freshman Reagan Innes, making her pass that ball, and that ball, it's like a dart right now. It's just dying at the last minute.
And Florida State stands at set points. Why not? Ace, ace, second set Seminoles.
Has come from those two players who, again, were the 4th and 5th option last year. It just speaks to how hard they have worked this offseason.
Yeah, it speaks to the development in the gym here in Tallahassee as we get going in set number 3. Henke with the swing, dug up by Innes. And there's Cadence Booth, turned back by Mason. Innes is just going to shove it from the back row. Athletic set there by Stevenson to Mason, and the freshman sneaks that ball through the block for the opening point.
It's a smart shot by Lexi Mason, who's come in middle of that second set, giving Florida State a lift. Double block is there, but they hadn't sealed the net. She sees that, so she just swipes that ball right off that block.
Overpass put down by Henke. Overpasses and free balls are those golden opportunities that teams are always waiting for.
Those are the balls you have to kill.
Yes.
In a match like this where it's back and forth, it's a game of runs, especially early, you're trying to capitalize on this momentum.
10 kills now for Yanne Henke. Virginia has made a switch at the opposite. Becca White, number 30, is on the floor. They will rotate White and Bowie on and off in complement of each other, and it was Bowie who got off to the hot start.
And I would imagine this switch is partially because at 6'6", White provides a much bigger block going up against Henke and Villanova.
The back set, there's Robinson. Out of system here for White, dug by Philly Maua. Great dig there by Hogan. And Virginia, just scrappy and gritty, stays in the rally long enough to put a ball to the floor.
Tegan Hogan doing work there in that back row defensively, those cross-court swings that Florida State has had so much success with in this match.
Jasmine Robinson with the off-speed swipe for another kill for number 15 in orange. 3 kills on 6 swings for Jasmine Robinson. Henke dug up and over by Hogan. Excuse me, that's Katie Barrier, and Barrier, the elusive libero kill.
That's twice now, though, that one of the liberos, it was Tegan Hogan the first time, and now Barrier digging that cross-court heat.
We've seen a little bit of everything. Now we cross off the libero kill. Cadence Booth with the service error. Point goes back to Florida State, lead at 2. You got the feeling coming into the gym, watching both of these teams go through their serve and pass and go through their respective warm-ups, that this could be a very competitive match between two squads looking for the same exact thing, trying to move up the pecking order in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And Delaney Ewing, if she can get going, not just because of the points she can produce, but the emotions she can spark, is going to be a big X factor for the Noles.
She is such an energy boost when she comes in. It's contagious. Her energy that she brings, only a sophomore too, but she's just that spark plug for the Noles. 6
swings for Ewing. She's put 4 balls away. Good service pressure by Florida State. And there's Ewing again.
Whew.
She's got something to say, too.
Ewing annihilated that ball. Has a high contact point. She works so hard in transition to make herself available. And look at this swing, one-on-one block, and she just unloads.
6'2".
Of being a COVID recruit. She was highly under-recruited, but she has just absolutely thrived since joining the Noles.
Stevenson nearly dropped in the ace. She'll stay back to serve. Virginia all out of sorts, and Florida State is just getting what they want.
Florida State just looks like a completely different team right now, just completely energized, really that from that 4-0 run at the end of the second set.
Yeah, credit Mio Yamamoto, 3 consecutive aces to take the teams into the locker room at the intermission. That is a timely response. And I'm just going to say it again, Jasmine Robinson quietly has had a very, very nice night.
Jasmine Robinson is doing work right now in the middle, has really been on that connection on those quicks with her setter.
4 kills on 8 swings. She's been playing her best volleyball in ACC play and has been hitting a career best 306 coming into tonight. Delaney Ewing is going to go back to serve off the Virginia service error. 5-point lead for Florida State, make it 4. Sometimes those service errors can be contagious. It's one of those things that you can't really explain. It just sort of happens that way.
And you think about, too, serving is the only aspect of volleyball that is individually based. Every other element of this game involves your team.
Relatively even in terms of the service errors. Whoa, what a swing by Kylene Fili-Maua. Dug into the scoreboard. Ricocheted off the Seminoles sound. It's another kill for Kylene.
That's why it's so important for Virginia. You have to get a block touch on this cross-court swing, because otherwise you're trying to dig high heat if you're Katie Barrier.
9 kills now for Kylene. Most of it on that cross-court action. Dode tried to call her own number. Collision between Lang and Dode. Took an extra second for the Cavaliers to get reset. And in all that chaos at the net, Lang just swats that ball to the floor.
Yeah, really nice job there by Lang. She was all out of sort. She was out of position on one of those blocks, but still was able to put that ball down.
So Caroline Lang with her 2nd kill of the match. And that's a service ace. Well, we've seen Reagan Innes do a little bit of everything. Might as well drop in an ace too, Kelly.
She's a complete player. What can we say?
Why not?
Line-to-line serve. And just clipping it in that back corner.
I mean, that's just pin-perfect placement.
But see how this time she's got that ball in a yo-yo. She drop serves. So she's changing up the depths completely. First she's serving zone 1, right in that back corner, and now she's dropping it inside the 10-foot line.
And making the Noles move. Credit Yamamoto coming up there on first contact. That's a quality look for Fili-Maua, who once again goes kill off the cross. Strong serve by Fili-Maua, who then goes to work defensively. Henke to the back.
That's where Henke has such great court vision, is she sees where that block is. She sees that it's a go slam back there and right back, and just redirects that ball down the line.
5-point lead for Florida State. Fili-Maua serves again, this time going deeper, targeting Reed. Innes off the bick, caught hands. It's another back row kill for Reagan Innes.
Innes' ability to terminate on those that second contact was not a good set either.
Kill number 13 for Reagan, hitting 360. Kate Johnson serves. Henke. She is clearly in a rhythm now.
Yeah, just keep feeding her the ball. Florida State too going tempo to the pins so that tempo can beat the block.
Kelly, she had 7 kills in the first 2 sets. She's got 7 in the third alone.
She has the ability to change it up and get in a rhythm on a dime.
Florida State, meanwhile, as a team, has 10 kills in this set on 15 swings. The lion's share of that obviously going to the player who will take one more and put another one down.
It's star player against star player right now. The veteran, if we can call Henke a veteran, teeing off that time right at Innes, but Innes coming right back, swinging on a deep ball. Henke, though, winning this battle for this point.
8 kills for Yane Henke. There's a service ace as well. Kylene Fili-Maua, that's Mio Yamamoto. Both of them are incredibly strong in conference play, and Chris Poole said it before that run even started when he was talking to me before the SMU match. He said, look, the goal here is to just find ways to find success, even if it's not on the scoreboard, and the hope is that everybody else will improve And then when Henke gets back on the floor, we're going to be a totally different team. And so far in this set, they look like it.
And the good news for Florida State is 5 of their final 12 matches are against top 25 teams. So you have a chance, if you can start to get in a rhythm, pick up some wins, your RPI can go way up from right now. It's at 62.
Yamamoto serves. She's been serving a while. Robinson tried to put that ball away, dug by Yamamoto. Good work defensively by Ennis. That's tight, and that's put down. Peyton Whalen knew exactly what to do with that Overton.
And I actually thought Ennis should have let that ball go out. That ball, to me, initially looked like it was on its way out. And so then at that point, Virginia's just scrambling, trying to be able to terminate anything.
Now Florida State has won each of the last 5 points.
And look who's serving.
And it's Yamamoto who tries to snipe the sideline. Whalen, that's still up. Good defense by Florida State. And then finally Robinson puts an end to the rally. That had a weird look to it from the drop.
Yeah, I thought that first ball was down.
It'll be a point for Virginia. Zoe Dode is going to go back to serve. There's an ace serve for Zoe Dode.
Excellent serve by Dode. She's serving the seam, and so when you serve the seam in the back row, it creates a lot of confusion of who is taking that first contact. And normally in this situation, it's the libero, Yamamoto.
That time it is Yamamoto to take it. Henke drops the hammer. Ennis tracks it down. Barrier sends over the free ball. Noles go back to Henke. That's picked up. There's Ewing. Ennis into the tape. It works out for Florida State. Kelly, I will say, though, on the ball that they sent to Henke, I felt like Delaney Ewing was just begging for that ball on the gap.
Certainly, and Ewing, she's played so well tonight too, so she deserves to be set sometimes in transition. But a nice job, scrappy play defensively from Virginia, and a very rare hitting error from the freshman Reagan Ennis.
Just 2 hitting errors for Virginia in this set as a team. Florida State has not committed a single one. Booth, no touch, point Noles. Wait, no, it's going to be overturned. It will be a kill off the touch.
Shanna Wells is joking she didn't have to pull her challenge card.
Hey, she'll take it. Mason drops it over the top and right in front of Katie Barrier. I have been impressed with Lexi Mason. She does have a cannon of an arm. We saw it once, but she has really made the IQ plays.
We've seen flashes of Lexi Mason's game this year, 14 kills against Wake Forest a couple matches back, but it's the consistency night in, night out that you're gonna go through the waves as a freshman, but she's playing really well today.
So too is Kylene Fili-Maua. 10 kills on 22 swings and now block number 3.
And look at the way Ewing closes this block with Fili-Maua. How far Fili-Maua is pressed over the net, how those hands turn back to the inner part of the court to take away that angle.
Henke serves once more, and Fili-Maua fed with the overpass. Easy pickings for Kylene Fili-Maua, kill number 11.
She's up, she's ready, she's doing it all.
This is a Florida State team that averages roughly 12.5 kills per set. They've got 14 kills on 24 swings. They just entered the red zone. Robinson. Now Mason. It's a really good second ball there to Ennis, who does what she can with it. Ennis. There's another kill for the freshman, number 14.
Virginia's setters show so much confidence in their freshmen. broken down plays, out of system balls, and her ability to terminate scrambling in those situations.
Reagan Ennis continues to find ways to put balls away. 2 different setters, 2 different types of balls that she gets. Never matter for the freshman. Mason. Boy, Florida State is really intentionally working Mason off the right here. Joust at the net. And knocked back down by Caroline Lang. Nice play by the freshman at the net, number 5.
Lang has just been so court aware at the net, being able to put away those scramble plays throughout this match. Season for her when you're not having perfect sets, those scramble plays at the net.
Philly Mala just goes right back to work out of the timeout, off the edge of the block and down. So number 12 for number 12 on 25 swings, again hitting north of 300. Has another double-double, by the way, 12 kills, 12 digs. And there's Lang throwing it down out of the middle.
And that's just good recognition by Virginia and Hannah Scott, the setter, is to figure out who the hot hand is on your team. And if you have the option to set your middle and Caroline Lang, do it, because you're typically going to have just a one-on-one block.
And there's Virginia. Again, they run a 5-2, so the setters are going to sub for each other. Zoe Dode works the front row. Then she'll go back to serve and be subbed for by Hannah Scott. It's a different look for Virginia. It allows them to get a few more passers onto the floor. But it's a fun one. It's one that Chris Poole, said that his team was well prepared for.
Yeah, and Florida State has done a phenomenal job of taking away the setter dump from Dode in this match. She had a lot of success with that against Virginia Tech.
What is it about that 5-2 look that you think Virginia likes with the personnel they have on the floor?
Well, it gives them the option for your setter to be an offensive threat in the front row. And also, the thing I like about the 5-2, it allows your setters to get into a rhythm with their hitters. They're not paired all the time with the same hitters.
So far, in the first set, it worked beautifully for Virginia. But wow, the service pressure by Florida State has really had that first contact broken down by Virginia really toward the end of the second set on, and it's been all Florida State ever since.
And the other reason Virginia is playing that 5-2 is really for the passing, the ability to bring in those 4 littles into the back row.
So the fact that Florida State has found success on their serve, considering all of those passing weapons, is quite something. There's Caroline Lang with block number 3.
Lang is just affecting both sides of the game right now, offensively and defensively.
A strong serve there. Dode pushes to the pin. Whalen. Well, that's unconventional.
Woo!
Had it carom back to her, bounced off her shoulder, went back across the net and into the donut. That is going to be one of the wackiest kills I've seen in this gym in years, but it'll work.
That's what you call a hometown bounce, when it ping-pongs off your player back a point the other way.
Hometown bounce. The Noles will take it, trying to go up 2-1. Couple of handfuls of set points. And a miscommunication by the Cavaliers. Opportunity for the Noles. And Capilla will register the kill.
That violation.
Excuse me, yeah, it's plenty comfortable going back there as a 6 rotation pin. The offense has been pristine for Philly Mala over the last few weeks, and she and Henke have engineered another strong match for the Noles. A player who's had a strong match as well, Reagan Ennis. That'll be kill number 15 for Reagan, and that is a good authoritative start to this set for Virginia, who never found their footing in set number 3.
No, but Reagan Ennis continues to just swing fearlessly in this match. She's putting Virginia on her back.
And that is a play I think Kylene Philly Mala will want back. That is one that everybody in the gym, I think, feels like was going out of play, and she couldn't pull her arms back in time. As good as her match has been, everybody's prone to a mistake or two sometimes. Oh, what a start to this set for UVA.
That was an absolute bullet by Reagan Ennis, who has such a fast physical arm. This block trying to set up inside, it doesn't matter. That ball is just a laser off the fingertips of Yamamoto.
2 kills for Ennis to start off this third set and an ace. And now a misconnection by Florida State. It is 4-0 Virginia right out of the rip.
Yeah, you might have a timeout coming shortly.
Florida State hit 500 as a team in that third set. Won it going away by 9. And what a response by the Cavaliers. Janne Henke does record the kill off the block. It is a very close tool as it screamed all the way across the court and nearly dropped in for a block.
Well, that block did a nice job on that press. Wow. So both teams had a ball to serve.
Interesting.
Confusion over whose point it was.
All I know is I was looking down at my notes and then I looked up and everybody was yelling. That's my play-by-play of the situation.
And the up official said, hey, that's on me.
So we're going to effectively replay the point. It's going to be Florida State who serves. And Yamamoto goes back to do the honors.
Remember, this has been a tough rotation for Virginia with her at the service line.
They go back to Bowie here in set number 4 off the right. Henke does just enough to get it through the block. Ennis does so as well, and Robinson wins the battle at the net for the Cavaliers. And you mentioned it, Kelly. They chase Yamamoto off the service line immediately.
I've been so impressed, though, with both middles, both Robinson and Lang in this match, of just how self-aware they are at the net on those scramble balls.
9 combined kills for those two, just 2 errors between the two on 21 combined efforts. Henke, goodness gracious, dropped the hammer there. That is kill number 17 for Janne.
Virginia just doesn't have an answer for that cross-court swing of Janne Henke.
Yeah, that heavy cross-court ball by both of Florida State's pins has been problematic.
Yeah, and just digging heat. The block's not getting a touch. Needs to set up a little bit more inside on that look.
Stevenson serves. Bowie off the right, dug down the line by Yamamoto. Good work defensively. Henke just this time sneaks it through the block and over the tape.
That's where Janne Henke is at her best. She's constantly keeping the opposing defense and block guessing because she mixes up her shots and her speeds, going to a roll look there and completely fakes out the Virginia defense.
Bowie rejected. Ewing and Henke.
That was an evasive block by Florida State. Great job getting this press low and fast over the net, setting up inside as Bowie wants to swing cross court, but that look is completely taken away by this double block.
3-0 run. Janne Henke has been at the center of it for Florida State. A block, a couple of kills. Now there's another block. Delaney Ewing manning the other side of the net for Florida State, teaming up with their opposite, Lexi Mason.
Ewing just doing work right now across the net. Look at how she closes this block and gets that press across to take away the cross-court angle of Ennis.
Five kills on 8 swings for Ewing. Now 5 blocks in this match for number 24 in white for Florida State. And despite the service error, pushing Virginia back out in front by 1, that has been indicative of the run of form that she has been on for some time. We'll see if that block continues to assert itself here in this 4th set. Ennis runs out of room.
I like Florida State's decision and Nellie Stevenson there going to the back row attack. We haven't seen it in a while from Florida State, but it gives the Noles an extra attacker from that back row.
Henke serves 6 up in this 4th set. Must-win set for the Cavaliers. Out of system to Philly Maua. Oh, what a set that was. Pin to pin, feeding Innes. Opportunity for the Noles. Mason off the block and kept alive. Now to the pin. Philly Maua.
Nellie Stevenson is making great decisions running this offense. She has set all 3 attack options on this rally. How about this one-armed up there by Stevenson, the setter, and then on that cross-court swing, Philly Maua putting it home.
3 digs for Stevenson, now 22 assists for Nellie, the transfer from Montana State. That'll find the back corner for the Cavaliers. That'll tie things up at 7. That'll send Reagan Innes back to serve. 17 kills for Reagan Innes. And that is long. Well, Kylene Philly Maua recorded Florida State's most recent kill. With more on her, here's Ansley.
Thanks, Sean. Well, the West Coast kid told me I only really knew about the Pac-12 growing up. And now, being at Florida State, she is fully immersed in the culture here. She said, Tully Gym, the fans, the crowd, it is unmatched. And one of her favorite things is the little girls in the crowd, because she said, that used to be me, guys.
Once upon a time, and now she's putting on a show for those little girls. Thank you very much, Ansley. Another really good decision by Nellie Stevenson, feeding her opposite attacker, Lexi Mason, who goes high off the block.
Well, going back to Ansley's story for a second, Sean, you talked to Auburn head coach Brent Crouch earlier this season when he used to coach on the West Coast, and he said, I don't know how I didn't know about Philly Maua when she was out there. She's an absolute animal.
She did. That's exactly what he called her. He called her an animal. And I laughed, and he said, no, I'm serious. He said, she scares me.
Well, she's put in the fear in a lot of opponents this season, and rightfully so with her play.
Kate Johnson serves. Here's Philly Maua. There's another ball to the floor for Kylene. Kill number 17, and it's apropos for Florida State. One of their pins has 18 kills. The other one has 17. Both are hitting with good efficiency for outsides.
And that's what's so hard, is because you're trying as a defender and a defense to force them into a lot of swings and be inefficient, but that has not been the case tonight.
7 kills on 14 swings in this set for the Noles. No errors. Hitting 500 again in this set. Hitting 323 as a team. They are siding out, Kelly, at 66% for the match.
And keep in mind, that was after in the first set, Florida State, their worst side-out percentage of the match at 66.
And for those of you at home who are like, what in the world is side-out percentage and what does that mean? Generally speaking, if you can side out around 70%, that is 10 assists, 10 digs, and Stevenson 24 assists to lead the way.
What people forget, too, is both of those setters, Stevenson and Nicholson, were transfers in this year. So they had not been in this Florida State offensive system before this season.
And this is a Florida State team that really only has 5 returners, 2 of which actually played. And they played in positions that really aren't the one that they're playing in now. Philly Maua played outside, right side, and libero last year. And Henke was off the right all year. Nanu Kapia is a freshman, so she's another one of those fresh faces for Florida State. And that's a good swing there for Nanu, a confident one at that.
I just love right now that Florida State is doing such a nice job of being balanced with their offense. They're not afraid to go to their young freshman middles in transition.
Back to 3 now for Florida State. Off the freshman kill out of the middle. That'll send Philly Maua back to serve. It's a good one. Cadence Booth comes in on the attack. Whalen off speed, picked up. Robinson, same story. Both sides taking some velo off the ball. Becca White takes a rip.
Woo. Had to dodge out of the way on that one.
I got a hand up. I was ready. I didn't need it, but I was ready.
Well, I took a shot in pregame warm-up, so I have to be dexterous here.
Yeah, that's right. You got a pregame wake-up call that you weren't asking for.
That'll wake you up in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. And so will that ace serve.
Virginia's not going away.
No. And they got off to such a good start, too, Kelly. 25-21. They were in it in set 2 until Mio Yamamoto just went unconscious at the service line, and it has been all Florida State largely since. There is Yamamoto on serve receive, and there's Henke on the cross.
That is a really high degree of difficulty shot, too, from Jana Henke. You're going 4-4 swing. That's a very sharp angle. A lot of people, the casual fan, doesn't realize how difficult this shot is.
And I'll say, too, and this is a good thing, but because there's now pro volleyball in the States and you do see the pros go 4-4 often, I think a lot of folks at home are convinced that because they see it happen more often in the pros, that that's just something that's normal.
But it's not, because what happens in pro volleyball is that the outside hitters are getting the bulk of the sets.
They are. They certainly are. And, when you consider the impact of pro here in the States, it's really changed everybody's outlook on things. It's wonderful to have it. And a lot of these players are showcasing why they want to stay stateside now beyond their college careers.
And they have options, too, to stay stateside.
Yes. Here's Katie Barrier back to serve. 2-point lead for the Noles. Not great pass there by Henke. Ennis, what a swing.
And speaking of difficult shots, Ennis, she's pulled in. It's an out-of-system ball. She's pulled in on that set, and she's still able to find the hands of that block. This is a really smart shot for the freshman, just going off the inside blocker's hands of Delaney Ewing.
And Kelly, off the service error, we got a little bit of time. I've always viewed, and I think a lot of people do, I've always viewed attackers as problem solvers at the net. The ratio of times that you're going to get a perfect ball isn't necessarily going to be the highest. You've got to be a problem solver, and she has been a darn good one as a freshman.
Well, especially as an outside hitter, you're getting what you call junk balls. So those are sets that are rarely perfect sets. A middle, you're getting a lot more perfect sets. As an outside hitter, you're cleaning things up all the time.
There's an ace serve for Nellie Stevenson. So Nellie Stevenson's had a really nice night. We talked about it, the 24 assists. She's got 4 digs. Now she's got a second ace. Nearly put a ball away herself not too long ago. Inist. That is kill number 20 for Reagan Inist.
Florida State's making Innis do a lot of work, too. They're targeting her on serve, that line-to-line serve, making her pass the ball, and then that ball's going right back to her on the attack.
Yeah, if you target somebody and they pass a dime, it feels like more often than not, they are going to be the one responsible for putting that ball to the floor.
Because as an attacker, you're taking it personally. You have a chip on your shoulder that you're being targeted, and so you're out to show them that, like, hey, keep sending me the balls. I'm just going to make you pay.
And Innis, she's been strong on serve receive. She's got the 20 kills. She's 1 dig away from a double-double. Here she goes back to work again, high off the block and out. That's just reading the block to perfection. Reagan Innis just does it again.
And so often as a freshman, you come in and you're just so used to hitting the ball hard. A lot of freshmen don't have that high fingertip shot. That's something you learn as you progress in your career. Reagan Innis has it as a first year.
And again, if you're just joining us, worth mentioning, she's still just 17 years old.
It reminds me a lot. SMU has a freshman, Krista Wilburn, who is also 17 years old, came in early, like Reagan Innis did.
Krista Wilburn, her head coach, Sam Erger, said, mark my words, Krista Wilburn will be a superstar. And considering the talent that Sam Erger continues to churn out down in Dallas, I believe her 100%. Speaking of superstars, Kylene Filimawa, mark it, underline it, highlight it. She fits the billing.
She just continues to step up and has made the adjustment to having Jana Henke back in this lineup, and so good on that line shot.
18 kills now for Kylene Philly-Maua. Cadence Booth didn't take her full swing. It wasn't a power tip. It wasn't a full approach either. It was kind of in between both.
Yeah, Chris Poole is arguing that on that tip that there was too much hand contact.
It just looked weird, yeah.
But it was a throw. It's a real fine line as an official of how long you can have your fingertips on that ball.
Well, the officials are going to rule with Booth. It'll be kill number 9 for Cadence, who herself has had a nice match hitting near 300. There she goes again. And it's kill number 10.
And
we're tied.
That high fingertip shot right now going off the high hands that is working. We've seen Inez have success with it, and then also Cadence Booth throughout this match.
18 all in set 4. Both teams hitting above 300 in this set, and that is going to be just attack error number 2 for the Noles. The lead now to UVA, and Chris Poole says, I've seen enough. Timeout Noles.
And not a lot of attack errors in this set, but they're coming at costly times.
Yeah, just the 2 now attack 99. Shannon Wells has built a really strong program in Charlottesville.
Now, unfortunately, Florida State has so many new players. A lot of these players do not know or remember that loss.
True that, as Kylene Philly-Maua goes back to work offensively. Kill number 19 for Kylene. Both of Florida State's left pin attackers have 19 kills in this match. Renee Henke on 50 swings, Philly-Maua on 37. And Virginia's pins have a combined 31 kills. Nicholson serves, tied at 19. And Robinson catches hands for the kill.
I like the decision there, the trust shown in Jasmine Robinson going to your middle as you're entering the red zone here in a must-win set if you're Virginia.
6 kills on 14 swings for Jasmine. None bigger than that one right there. Dode serves. Tight. And a misconnection by the Noles, but it's going to be a point for FSU. You have to give the team across the net a chance to play the ball.
And Virginia did not. Got a little overzealous there.
So it's a point for Florida State. Kylene Philly-Maua goes back to serve. Yane Henke will be up at the net now for the Noles. Booth keeps it alive. White swats it over to Kapia. Henke dug. Great work by Berrien. Henke again. This time off speed and in front of Katie.
That was all set up though, but Philly-Maua had such good ball control from playing beach volleyball. She had that first contact right on the money, and then it allows Florida State to go to that left side and Henke to go to that off-speed look.
It's incredible how quick you can go from being on your heels to being on offense. Peyton Whalen tried to put away the overpass. Philly-Maua. Good first ball. Henke with the shove picked up by Berrien. Robinson off the edge of the block, kept alive by Philly-Maua. Off the bick, there's Innes, picked up by the Noles, but they run out of room at the net. Peyton Whalen would have had to go across the center line to keep that ball alive.
I love that look by Virginia to go back to the back row attack of Innes back there. It's such a lethal combination. Rare that you can get a double block up against it in time.
Boy, we've got a situation here where our officials aren't really pleased with how close each respective coaching staff is getting to the playing surface. You have to credit both coaching staffs. They are in it. They are inspired just like their teams are. Michael Gale wants to make sure everybody is staying safe. Nothing safe about that swing, though. Holy cow, what a swing.
Florida State, all 3 attack options available. The new Kapia, giant hole in that block and taking full advantage. Look at this athleticism And her versatility to be able to go in front of and behind her setter.
And how about the decision by both setters to go to middles in the red zone in such a crucial time? Whoa, look at the placement of that ace serve.
Deja vu from the last set for Florida State.
And guess who it was back there at the line? I believe we might have a challenge, though.
Yamamoto, who helped Florida State to a 4-0, that's in from that angle, back corner, 4-0 scoring run to close the third set.
Virginia is challenging that the ball was out. The original call, the ball was in.
As it stands, Mio Yamamoto in line for ace number 6.
Chris Poole said that Yamamoto is the unsung hero of this Florida State team. She just anchors that back row defense, and she's a tough server.
She has been especially so. One more look,
After
Kelly.
review, the call is confirmed.
And
Virginia will lose their challenge and have one remaining.
And Kelly, I was just about to say, you were all over it. Kim Wisham came back to the monitor to confirm.
She didn't need any time.
Nope.
That was very clear.
But at the same time, you can't necessarily blame Virginia. You got to take every shot you can.
Here's the thing. You have nothing to lose. It's late in the set. It acts as a second timeout. You can see, though, this ball, this isn't even close. This ball is mostly in that back corner. But I like it using it as a timeout, too.
And you're going to get that challenge back if you go to a fifth set
You're
anyway.
also trying to freeze the server in Yamamoto.
Never matter for Mio. Virginia couldn't keep that ball going. It's a lift, and it's match points for the Noles. And so just ratifying. You got to take the first step, though. That's a win tonight. Match points. Yamamoto was ready to serve. Boy, she was ready to serve. Michael Gill says, come on now. Hang on a second. And she'll try once more. All right. Match points still in the balance. Yamamoto serves once more. Overpass. And good night. Yane Henke with kill number 21, and the Noles beat the Cavaliers in 4.